Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I will be reading Tanari X Listener by me. So let's get into it. Tanari knew the academy hated him, especially after those recent events. He had zero idea, but he knew that something was up right there. Something important and big, and he had zero idea how to verify it, except from the letters he received from his professor. Even then, to consider what big-scale event that they were preparing. After all, the Akasha's power was immense, and they could control a lot of people that way. He couldn't imagine what they want to do, but whatever it is, provided the right methods and the right people, they could do it, as evil as it could be. And that's why he did not want to join them. And that's why exactly they were targeting him right now, making things difficult for him, one by one. It started with small things, like warnings, like perhaps him not being able to get into the academia as easily as before, and their treatment of him became more strict, and the threats about prison, because of what he was doing, the courses that he gave. But after all, he was doing what he had to. They could not stop him from accomplishing his own duties. They were wrong, dead wrong, if they think they can do this and get away with it. And even if they imprison him in the end, he doesn't give a crap about it. But that was only how it was before you came along. Because now, with you and Kolya by his side, they have some leverage in their hands. Kolya was not really a target to them. She had Eliza after all. She was sick. There was barely anything they could do to her. But you weren't even from Sumeru. So it wasn't like they were betraying one of their own. And even if you were, they wouldn't mind it. After all, it was for the greater good. The end justifies the means, as they say sometimes. Tanari did not believe in that saying. And that's also why I would always tell you to be careful, not to trust the academia, and to always tell him before doing anything dangerous. I really thought that you would not be able to be tricked as easily, but even then, they were smart and calculating, and they could tell exactly what you were going to do. So that's why they had sent you a fake letter with Tanari's signature and told you to meet at a specific place because he wanted to see you and all. And though it was weird of him, he thought it was Tanari. After all, maybe they couldn't fake his signatures. They certainly would not go that far, right? You were wrong, because you were captured. And Tanari kept worrying after you. At first, he thought you were late. When he came to visit you at your house, and everyone told him that you were out. And he kept waiting and waiting for nothing. He didn't come by. And that's why he had that inkling feeling of something going wrong. It was something inside of him, pulsing, nagging him repeatedly that you were in danger, that made him start investigating and asking for Sano's help, desperate, just wanting to be able to save you. And it looks like they wanted him. They told him that they had you. And with no second thoughts, Tanari went in, looking for you. Maybe if he had thought about it, he would have known it was an ambush. But he was being careless. His heart was the one that's controlling him right now, because you were in danger. And there was no time. So, to see you there in front of him, tied up, crying, begging him to go away while he still had time. And he didn't listen. Going over to you, only for all of them to appear behind him, with their swords and bows. Azar standing in front of him, threatening. Tanari, I mistook you for a smarter person. And that's why I asked you to join us. But if you're actively working to annoy us, then we might as well just get rid of you, or use you for something that will be to our benefit. He muttered, and Tanari glared at him. But when you just want to say no, someone had hurt you, and you start crying, shaking your head, telling them not to listen to them, even as you cried, in pain. You'll be watching her until you agree to work with us. And if you don't, we'll get rid of you both. That's the last thing that Azar said before leaving, and he began torturing you in front of him while you could barely do anything. After all, there were tens of them. Not all of them were originalists too. So you could only watch, trying his absolute best not to do anything dangerous or stupid. But you couldn't watch any longer, even as you pled to them, asking them to stop, to just hurt them instead. They never listened. Fine, I'll do anything you want. Just leave her alone, he said at last, feeling hopeless and helpless, knowing it's the only thing he can do to save you. And that's when they had let you go, even as you cried, and he held you tightly in his arms. Look, Ryan, I want you to go back to Mondstadt and get help. For now, I'll be doing what I can with them. But don't forget me. Okay? Was his last request. He also told you to take care of Cole and tell her what he had said. And he nodded, kissing him. Perhaps, maybe, for the last time. But even if it was, he knew that in your life, you will never stop waiting for him and never stop loving him. And maybe one day, you'll be able to see him again. And his heart will be once again yours, to hold and to love, and to see most of all. But for now, this kiss would mark your final goodbye until you were able to see each other, perhaps one day again in the future. But until then, you will honor his sacrifice and do what you can to help him and set him free.